Be the change you wish to see in the world. These words of Mahatma Gandhi inspire me to talk about human rights and Indian Constitution. I am Anvesha Bhattacharya of class 12 and today I want to explore how the Indian Constitution provides a framework to creating a positive change in our society and how we can work together to promote human rights and social justice. As Nelson Mandela once said, the struggle for human rights is a struggle for the very soul of our humanity. First of all, the Indian Constitution, which is adopted on 26 January 1950, is a remarkable day for us, and it is so special for us. This day represents and express the principle of justice, liberty, and equality. Article 14 of the Constitution guarantees equality before law. Article 15 prohibits discrimination on the ground of caste, creed, religion, and sex, and etc. Article 17 prohibits the practice of untouchability. While Article 21 guarantees right to vote. Now, let's discuss how Indian Constitution play a vital role in safeguarding our human rights. First, fundamental rights. Right to equality. Article 14 to 19 guarantees right to equality for all citizens regardless of the caste, creed, and socio-economic background. Right to freedom. Article 19 to 22 guarantees right to freedom of speech, expression, and assembly. Second, protection of vulnerable groups. Article 15 and 16 is reserved for reservation and affirmative action for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Protection of women and children. Article 15 and 24 is provided a special protection for women and children. Despite all these constitutional guarantees, human rights continue to be violated. Women and children are subjected to face violation and abuse, while Dalits and tribal are subjected to face violation and exploitation. So what can we do to promote human rights in India? First, we need to raise awareness about human rights and importance to protect them. Second, we need to hold our elected representatives, their actions, and ensure that they are working for human rights. Finally, we need to support individuals and organizations, those who are promoting human rights in India. At last, I would say the Indian Constitution is a living, breathing entity that has been saved by sacrifices and struggle of numerous individuals from our nation's history. Indian human rights is an integral part of our Constitution, and it is our responsibility to protect and promote them. At last, I would say, we talk about human rights in the light of Constitution. We recognize our right. And after speaking at length, I would like to conclude by thanking you all for your patience and attention. Thank you all. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Today, I'd like to talk to you about two important topics, human rights and Indian Constitution, and how they intersect to form the foundation of our democracy. Respected teachers, esteemed guests, and my dear friends. Human rights are the fundamental freedom and protection that every individual is entitled to by simply being human. These rights are universal. They are not granted by government, but are inherited on all people, regardless of their nationality, ethnicity, or belief. As John Locke once said, to end the law is not to abolish or restrain, but to preserve and enlarge freedom. So, human rights are about ensuring freedom and dignity to all people, from right to life to freedom of expression. Now, how does this connect to Indian Constitution? Indian Constitution has ensured and enshrined fundamental rights to every citizen, irrespective of the caste, creed, religion, color, sex, or nationality. So, as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said, we are going to enter into life of contradiction. In politics, we have equality, and in social and economic life, we have inequality. Some of the basic human rights are like right to equality, right of freedom, right to marry and have family, the right to freedom of speech, expression, religion, and opinion. Now, the Indian Constitution has ensured all these rights. So, The Constitution, in a nutshell, the Constitution provides us all the rights. In conclusion, I must say, in a nutshell, I must say.
Good morning to one and all present. All the students of OEB Masari Kesinga and the dignitaries and respected principals. I am Janai Mahapatra from class 9, stand in front of you all to speak something about human rights and Indian Constitution. As we all know that Indian Constitution is not only a constitution, it's a living book which is providing all rights and dignity to everyone. Today is Human Rights Day. First of all, what is human rights? As we all know that everyone has freedom and equality. But do you know that some people are unable to live with dignity and to feel all the equalities? So, human rights say to us that every person of India and every citizen of India has rights to live with equality, to see the same sunrise, to see the same moonrise, and to feel the same enjoyment and to live in dignity. As I am a fellow citizen of India, I would like to say that let's dive into the topic and feel like that. Why this day is celebrated? In our India, most of the people are living in poverty. Some people are just discriminated by their looks, by their dressing sense, and even for their birth. Sometimes we see a person in the street and say that, look at their clothes, look at their dressings. Why they are dressing like this? Are they that poor? We just judge them by their dressing looks without knowing their past, without knowing the knowledge they hold. Are you thinking that they are able to live in dignity just because of their looks? Human rights say that we should not judge anyone by their looks or by their words because it is like pointing towards their dignity. And even human rights says that if we all protect a person, if we all show our kindness and love towards every citizen, then it will be even good for us. Because by protecting, respecting anyone, not only we increase their respect, but also we become a trustee in front of everyone. Once Mahatma Gandhi had said that everyone has rights to walk on the same route we are walking. Not only the king who is walking on the route, we are not allowed to walk there, but also every citizen has the rights to walk on the same road. But are you thinking in our society these things are true? In our society, the way we treat to a servant, are we treating this in the same way to the Prime Minister of our country? The way we talk to the Prime Minister of our country, are we able to talk with a servant? In most of the houses, the children and women are abused. Why? Because they all don't have that thinking that everyone are equal in front of laws. Everyone are equal in front of laws and everyone has rights to live. We are saying that person has a very high standard job. He is able to earn lots of money. He is a working book who has a lots of animal knowledge. But when it comes to a people, why don't we think that? Why that person is breathing? Is passing through a very hard time, or he is not able to understand the meaning of true life? We forgot everything to judge a person. We are forgetting their rights. And even Indian Constitution say that if we disrespect any person by their looks, by their qualities, by their words, and even for their jobs, then we will get jailed or we have to pay fines. Last but not least, the Human Rights Day not only also us that our true dignity, and we have said that everyone should live in equality, but also it shows that every citizen, every person in this country has rights to live in the same dignity that the Prime Minister lives. So at last I would like to say that our constitution is a thing that teaches us everything. So we should respect it and live with dignity. Thank you.
In the ink of justice, our rights were drawn. In the ink of justice, our rights were drawn. A beacon of hope in democracy's dawn, in democracy's dawn. Respected dignitaries, honorable principals, sir, teachers, and fellow friends. A beautiful morning to one and all present over here. I, Subhalakshmi, feel privileged to have an opportunity to speak something on today's day. As we all know that today we all are gathered here to celebrate the Human Rights Day, which is celebrated every year on 10th December. Now, I'm going to share my thoughts on the topic of human rights and Indian Constitution. So first of all, let me tell you, what is a constitution? Basically, a constitution is a written document where all the rules and regulations of the country or the nation are kept. But the Indian Constitution is not just a legal document, also it is the soul of our democracy, drafted under the leadership of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and the Constituent Assembly. It is a testament to the vision of equality, liberty, justice and fraternity. It is the foundation that upholds the world's largest democracy and ensures the rights of each and every citizen of that country. Now, a question arises that why is a constitution needed? A constitution is not needed. A constitution is essential for any nation because it serves as the fundamental framework of the country that governs its political, legal and social system. Now let's look at some of the key features of constitution. The first of all, it defines the political nature, or you can say it defines the political structure of that nation. Second, it states that every person are equal before the law. Means president of the country to the domestic worker, everyone has to obey the same rule and regulation because the constitution states that every person is equal before the law. Now, it guarantees the fundamental rights. What is fundamental rights? Simply, it's human rights. Now again, what is human rights? As the word suggests or the phrase suggests that human rights are the basic right and freedom and justice which are given to each and every person of that nation irrespective of their caste, religion, background, gender, races, color, etc. and etc. So simply these are the rights and freedom given to each and every person of the country. Now, these fundamental rights there are 6 fundamental rights. The Constitution serves us with 6 fundamental rights from Article 14 to 35, which are the backbone of the human rights. And they guarantee right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, culture and educational right, and right to constitutional remains. So first right to equality means that every person are equal before the law. As I told before that the president of the country to the domestic worker, everyone has to obey the same rule and regulation. Second, right to freedom. This means that we have the right to speech, expression, assemble, movement, etc. Now, right against exploitation. It prohibits human trafficking and child labor. Now, right to freedom of religion. This means that every individual or a group of community or a group of people can practice their own religion, can propagate their own religion, can follow their own religion. Even they can practice their rituals in all public places. Now, the cultural and educational right. It prevents the minorities from being dominated by the majority group. And last, right to constitutional remains. What does this mean? This means that a person can approach to the court if he or she thinks that their fundamental rights are being violated. So these are the 6 fundamental rights that the Constitution serves us. Now, as we all know that today is Human Rights Day, of course the question is arising, why is it celebrated and why is
I wish you all a happy Human Rights Day 2024. I, Achilles Bisri, student of class 10, stand before you to speak on the topic Human Rights and Indian Constitution. I am glad that I have been given the opportunity to speak on this auspicious occasion. Human rights. What is human rights? Human rights are the basic rights given to the people. It is inherent to all the human beings, irrespective of their caste, religion, nationality, gender, race, etc. From the past, in many countries, human rights were not given to citizens, but people revolted, people rebelled. And nowadays, many countries have given rights to their citizens. Now let us talk about our India. The longest written constitution. The Indian constitution has provided Indian citizens all the rights. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, the architect of Indian constitution, has ensured that every citizen should get the basic human rights. And the third part of Indian constitution comprises of fundamental rights. Previously, there were 7 fundamental rights, but now right to property has been excluded from it, and there are 6 fundamental rights. From Article 14 to 18, right to equality, it states that all are equal before the law. And Article 18, 19 to 22, it states that it is right to freedom. It includes freedom of speech and expression, then freedom of practicing any profession. If it would be before 1947, then I might not be speaking here. I may not have the opportunity to speak here because I did not have any rights to speak. But now, I have the right to speak and I can speak anything which would not harm anyone. And right to profess, freedom to profess any profession. Then, before in our Indian society, it was evident that many people were doing the occupations from their generations. Like if you are son of barber, then you must be a barber. But now the occupational mobility has been rising. If you are a son of barber, you can be an IAS, you can be a doctor, or you can be an engineer. You need not to be a barber because you have the freedom to profess any profession. And then Article 23 to 24, right against exploitation. It includes right against human trafficking and child labor. Before, child labor was a prominent problem in India, but nowadays it has been reduced. Government has made this is compulsory for all children to have primary education, basic education, and child education is banned. Then, from Article 25 to 28, right to freedom of religion. Anyone can profess any religion and propagate any religion. India is a secular country. It has no official religion. Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian, all are brothers and all are equal. And then right cultural and educational right. It is from Article 29 to 30. The minorities which are dominated by majorities. But in India, it is every minorities get the rights as equal to majorities. Their cultural traditions are unique, so we need to preserve it. And then, last but not the least, the Article 32, right to constitutional remedies, which is also known as the heart and soul of Indian Constitution. It guarantees that if anyone is violating your fundamental rights, then you can move to court and court will give you justice. Besides these fundamental rights, there are many other rights such as right to work, right to information, right to property, etc. However, in few parts of the country till now, the fundamental rights are violated and people are discriminated. So let us strive to make India 100% democratic and make India number 1 in the whole world. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Respected principals, and my teachers and my fellow brothers and sisters. I, Priya Vishwakarma from class 10. Today, I stand before you to talk about the vital aspect of human rights and the Indian Constitution. Human rights. Human right is nothing just the basic facilities, the fundamental rights and the freedom which every individuals are entitled with, regardless of their religion, caste, nationality, ethnicity, and any other states. Indian Constitution, which came into effect on January 26, 1950, is a remarkable document which enshrines the principle of democracy, it enshrines the democracy, then equality and more. And it consists of two parts. This recognizes two rights that are fundamental rights and directive principle of state policies. The fundamental rights consist of 6 rights, and that are the right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and the rights to constitutional remedies. And directive principle of state policies shows us it promotes various things that are promotion in welfare of the country, promotion in international peace, promotion in child, women, and marginalized communities, and also it promotes us to protect our environment. These are the directive principle of state policies. And Indian Constitution, it also provides us various rights, and that are the National Human Rights Commission, that is NHRC, and the State Human Rights Commission, that is SHRC. Then Supreme Courts and High Courts, and also state legislatives and more. So, as students, what is our responsibility? Our responsibility is to understand and to be aware of the human rights and to follow, and we should aware of this human right, because in these days no one is aware of human rights. A list of population are aware of this. They know that, but they don't follow in their own lives. And like today, I have the right to speak. Before our independence, human beings don't have the right to say. Right to freedom, which provides us freedom for speech. And that's why today I have got the freedom to speak something here. So, as a student, and I'm so thankful and grateful for our Indian Constitution, which provides us all these rights and the basic facilities of human. Thank you. Have a nice day.
My respected senior teachers, Adarsha, my loving students, and my co-staff of Kesinga. As we have already told many more words regarding the auspicious date today, the 10th of December. As we all know, it's Human Rights Day. And you people, you students, you have gathered many more information from sources out and out. You must be thankful by the organization. I especially marked some new valuable things with you people, you boys. That most of the participants are from girls, and so far as the boys community, there are some lesser participants is well marked. So it will be my next suggestion to all the boys community, please come up with your hands on the next if there will be next program, I must say and I must want to see that there must be some voice right from your side. Pradhan, my dear students, you have performed all very good. Really, I appreciate you. Performance was well as per my expectation. Whatever may be, as per our jury decision, I am going to declare first, second, third. But don't worry. Once again, I am talking you that you have all performed better. Don't worry who is your first, who is your second. Just in mistake of 1-2 words, but attract your jury. That's not matter. So, carry on. You have also focused on various points of our constitution, different legal issues, fundamental rights, without wasting your more time, because your last time is going on, my office time is also coming. So, you know this Declaration of Human Rights, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948, December 10, declared in Geneva, where this significant day, these comments until the day you have been observing this day. As because you have covered all field and a maximum part of our constitution, you know from this human right declaration our constitution extracted the fundamental rights. Remember it, after human right declaration 1948, we have extracted and this is changed our life and let us to live with the human dignity. Whatever may be, a beast is living, an animal is living, we are living. But what is different between us, among us? Because we have right, we can express our speech. Okay, we can choose our profession, we can practice our religion, which in the beast life. Formerly, slavery was going on, bonded labor, slavery. You cannot expect what difficulty they were facing by that time. Our forefathers have struggled in that slavery. And now we achieved a largest democracy in India. Why and how become it possible? Because of their tireless endeavor. Let us express our gratefulness to the Lord Supreme Souls whose sacrifice gives us a luxurious life, a dignitary life. Okay, thanks. Now, this moment come to declare your results. Whatever may be. Now, I would like to request Mr. Santosh Das, Advocate Kesinga, to fellowship with the certificate. With the certificate to Adarsha Abhisikta Jena. Adarsha Abhisikta Jena for participation. Thank you. Next, I would request to principal sir to provide certificate to Okhres BC as participants. I would like to request Mr. G. Pradhan to provide his presentation.